Hey everyone, Rob Janicki here, author of Slacker 1991, Teen Spirit Angst, and The Generation It Created, out later this year via Inspired by You Books. There's more on the book coming very soon. Release dates, appearances, announcements, things like that. But today's video, I wanted to focus on something that has been sort of a passion of mine, if you will. If you've read some of my work in the past, particularly on Generation Riff and even on Medium, I believe, I've written and talked about AI, artificial intelligence, in the realm of the music industry. I am completely against AI in terms of it becoming music. Obviously, it's incredible technology and helps many industries and possibly even music, right? However, as we know, with technology, things sometimes can get out of hand and go a little bit too far. And in the world of music, particularly now where records don't sell, songs don't sell, and I mean physical records. Obviously, there's streams, but streams don't pay artists anything at all. It's next to nothing still. And it's almost impossible for most artists to make a living on selling their music. They have to go play live, and even the record companies take a large chunk of that. And we know how much tickets have been costing lately. So the music industry is in this upheaval, and AI is jumping in at the right time in terms of business, if you look at it from that point of view. But from a creative point of view, it's pretty bad. There's music out there that to most people's ears cannot tell the difference between artificially created music and music created by human beings playing actual instruments. And that's really, really dangerous. It's not only dangerous for the creative aspect and the creative side of this, where, we don't want a generation of people thinking that music is made because you can type in a few commands into the computer and get out, a top 40 hit, if you will, or a song that, millions of people might stream. That's not art. That's not music. That's software. And it doesn't really help anybody when it comes to, learning how to play an instrument or, writing music. That being said, it's happening daily, and it's getting better. It's getting more sophisticated. There's a great video that Rick Beato put out recently talking about this. He's another person who has talked about the hazards of AI and what is to come. And I'm in lockstep with him and others who believe that this is going in a very bad direction for musicians and artists. And it's not, I'm not trying to say that people shouldn't listen to or create music however they want. And if they want to use technology to help them out, so be it. That's their right. The problem comes in what will happen down the road with the record companies and people who pay musicians for their art and their music. The old model, very, very simply put, is a record label signs an artist. It's different now than it used to be, but I'm just going very basic. They sign an artist, and essentially they're splitting profits, one way or the other. Royalties are given, advances are given, they must be paid back, but there's money exchanged, artists get that money, and then later on they share profits with the record label, and away they go. And most people, if they were successful, were able to make a living. Now what's going to happen, record labels aren't going to sign human beings anymore. Eventually, they're going to buy, create, or become partners with technology firms who design and build the software that creates artificial intelligence, and they'll put out music with that. So they have to pay no one, especially if they own the software, and if they own the companies, if they own the entities that create artificially made music. Who are they paying royalties to? What artists do they have to develop? They don't develop anybody anymore anyway. So I see a time where there's not going to be a reason for these major record companies to pay artists to make music when what's coming out now is close to what human beings can produce. And as the generations go on and it becomes more acceptable, I guess, if you will, to people listening to artificially created music, they're not going to care. You know, maybe people who are alive right now and able to listen to music and hear, you know, real people playing, maybe they're not going to buy into it completely, but some will. But the generations that follow, the generations, kids who are just being born today, by the time they're 10, 12, 15 years old, I can only imagine what AI music is going to sound like. Is there going to be a need for human beings to create music? Now, this is the doomsday scenario that I'm painting. Of course, I don't think AI is going to be able to come up with emotion and feel and passion. That can only come from people. And I hope people will always create music based on that. And take it even further now to fight the AI technology that is really threatening to take over an entire industry that used to be really profitable for the people who were in it. You know, like anything else, there's always a strong rebellion against what becomes popular. And once AI is firmly entrenched in the music industry, hopefully there's a way to fight it. And that would be with people and human beings strumming guitars and smashing drums and belting out, you know, vocals. But it is dangerous, and it does threaten the way we all listen to music and the music that we love. If we're not careful, bands and artists won't be much of a thing, you know, 10, 20 years from now, probably less, if audiences allow it. And that's really what it boils down to. If we accept, if generations, future generations accept fake music, and it is fake, if it's created by computers in the AI realm, then I don't know, what recourse is there, you know? So it's going to be interesting, and I encourage anybody who loves music to start paying attention and following what's happening there in the AI world. Oh, and so the other thing I was just thinking, I said two things that I wanted to talk about. The other thing is, and I mentioned Rick Beato once already, the fact that he is so popular and influential now in the music world in terms of critiquing and talking about music is really important. I'm so glad that's happened. I think he's over 4.5 million YouTube subscribers now. And I'm 51. I believe he is in his early 60s, or he's just about 60. And he comes from a time, essentially, that I came from where, you know, music was, if you were a fan of music anyway, a major fan of music, it was everything. You dove deep into recordings, production, tours, artwork on albums, lyrics. You wanted to know everything about the music that you loved. And Rick is a tremendous musician and producer, and now he's an excellent YouTuber, critiquer, discusser of music. And a lot of it is music from you know, my past that I love, the 90s grunge and alternative music. But he goes deeper. He goes, you know, back to classical music. He goes to, you know, classic rock, jazz. I mean, you know, runs the gamut really. But I bring it up because the fact that he has so many people interested in what he has to say, and in his channel, on his channels, he's got two, it proves that there are people like me, and probably like you, who still care about music being genuine and honest and coming from a place of emotion and passion. And I want him to get even more popular and more popular, so people can really get the history of all this music that's coming out now came from somewhere. Just like the music I was growing up with in the 80s and 90s came from somewhere, and so on and so on and so on. That's always the case. But it might stop now. If the music that comes next is only generated by artificial intelligence, history will actually stop at some point, and then there'll be a new thing, and it'll be AI music. And there'll be nothing really to trace. Who the hell cares about artificially created music? There's no history. No one gives a shit, you know, and they shouldn't. So Rick's page is, or channel, is really important, and he talks about really important things. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, like, yes, we're talking about, or I'm talking about this doomsday scenario with AI, but yet someone like Beato has his finger on the pulse of not only yesterday's music, but today's music as well, and where it's going. And I think it's really important for people to listen and watch what he has to say, because it just may help save the music industry and keep all the stuff that people like us love. So check out Rick Beato's page. Continue to watch my page, and a channel, I should say. And there'll be links in the comments to get information on the book and some videos I think are important for this topic. Thanks, everyone.